Today we are going to be taking a look at a great little platform game creation app called Platfinity. I believe this software was developed using the Blitz coding language. And it was made by one guy. But don't let that spook you. It is a surprisingly solid, albeit limited tool for creating basic 2D platform games for the PC. In fact, Platfinity was used to create a number of games that were published on Steam. One of them is a game called AI Anomaly, about a robot that must save the world. Another one was a very successful game called Call of Booty. It got tons of reviews on Steam. So much so in fact that it attracted the attention of Activision, who took exception to the title and forced the developer to remove the game. Shame on them. Okay. So, the first thing you are going to want to do is create a new game. One thing to note is the UI is a little clunky. Anyway, we are going for the very original title, My Great Game. Whenever you start a new project, it gives you this scene to get you started. The built-in player character is here, standing on some stock ground with stock background music and a stock background image. All these things can be changed and customized. To open the editing tools, or the toolbox, just press T. Okay. So, you will notice there is a set of different types of tile you can use, such as background and normal. You can scroll through these at the top. We are going to paint some background tiles. Some nice little trees. Unlike normal tiles, these do not have collision detection, so the player can walk in front of them. Notice all these blank tiles. They are waiting for you to customize them, either by using the app's built-in painting feature or by importing your own images. If you want to make things more exciting, normal tiles can be slippery, sticky, bouncy, or conveyor. Okay. Now we are going to paint in a bit of ground from the normal tile category. We just click and drag. To erase tiles, you can hold Shift, click and drag. You can test the game at any time. Now let's go to Special Tiles and grab a ladder. Now back to normal tiles to paint more ground. Don't be in a hurry. Just chill out. We don't chill out enough. Now more than ever, we just need to chill. You have my permission and support. Please relax. And we are going to create a slope. You will notice the player can walk up the slopes easily. You do not need to use any special settings to make him use slopes. In fact, one of the great things about this app is, you don't even need to tell it a tile is a slope. All the collision detection is done using transparency. Basically, transparency equals non-collision. Also, you can use semi-transparent tiles to make cool windows if you set them as foreground. Another thing I haven't mentioned is using tiles to change gravity. This was used in AI Anomaly to achieve effects such as underwater and in space. Okay. So now we will add a bouncy tile. Notice the different types of tiles such as hazard tiles. We are going to add some foreground flowers. Now, let's add a mesh for the play to climb up. Then some more ground. Now let's add a rail for the player to hand from. Now more ground. Now, how about a fireman's pole to slide down? More ground. And now we need a checkpoint. It's a one-hit death thing, so the player will return here after taking a hit, which means dying. Now let's put a little signpost there. And add some text. Put there. Press Z or X while in play mode to zoom in and out. It really helps define your game, especially if you restrict the end player to one zoom state. The same game will look very different. To see this in action, check out the Platfinity tutorial. You might have noticed I haven't mentioned anything about the player being able to attack the moving hazards, or enemies if you will. That is because he can't. There are no game mechanics for attacking or weapons. I guess the developer is a pacifist. In my experience, the lack of player attacks isn't such a bad. It actually keeps the gameplay simple and fun. And another ladder. Now for a different ground tile. So, here are some moving hazards. They are objects, not tiles. They can be sized anywhere up to 256 pixels. And move various ways. You can set one of 6 directions. Plus speed and distance. It can also move one way only, or back and forth. We also have hazard tiles which don't move. Then there are rotating hazards. These can also be set to move. You can set the direction of rotation, movement direction, distance and speed, as with moving hazards. They can also be set to move like pendulums. Useful for those swinging axes. Hazard objects do not collide with tiles or each other. They only hit the player character. Now, as you can see, the player character has a fixed set of animations. But you can repaint the images, or import your own. Similarly, there are only 3 different audios: music, jump, and hurt, which is effectively die. But each level can have different music. And, of course, you can import your own audio. The files need to be in the OGG format. There are lots of settings to play with. The final item we need is an endpoint, which will transition to the next level or make the player win. By the way, platforms have many property options just like the normal tiles. They can also be set to fall away. Okay, that that was a digression there. Let's get back to placing the endpoint. Notice the player character's hair flashes red. This is because we edited just one of the frames of his running animation. Notice how the player just walks up the slope. Notice that the player character seems to be climbing, even when his upper body is above the mesh. Well, that can be remedied by copying the mesh tile into the background tiles category. The same holds for ladders and any other climbable tiles you create. Okay. I keep falling off there, so, instead of resetting the game each time, I am going to add a couple of new ladders. Just as an aside, the developer of this app did have plans to develop it further. His next update was intended to add animation features to the objects. Unfortunately, the trolls, who generally use the software only for several minutes before posting bad reviews on Steam, plunged the app into mixed review status. This made it financially unworthwhile for the developer to continue. How sad it is the few so often ruin things for the rest of us. Zooming in and out really changes and looks of the level, and you limit which zoom setting is available to the player. So, there you have it. Not exactly a AAA game, but okay for a demo. Then you just need to export it. Unfortunately, you need to manually copy each level folder, but it's not too bad.
This has been an Easy Game Development Tools production, in association with Julian Henry and Indie Retro Games. We hope you enjoyed it. Please hit like and subscribe.